What's it coming? Oh.
Acupuncture or just puncture. Oh, Penta, the up kick. Moxley still with that handful of skewers. Oh, the chair driven.
Oh my God. Oh, like this.
Penta now made in Japan with the skewers, and Moxley's out. This has got to be it. No, Moxley kicks out at one.
I'm telling you.
Now, I have forgotten that Jon Moxley and Pentagon Jr. actually fought one another at All In last year in London. And listen, I saw a little short clip of that big spot of Jon Moxley was bleeding from the head, from the forehead, and everyone was going crazy about that spot. But I'm looking at that spot like there wasn't really anything special about it. It just provided shock factor. That's it. And if we're looking at that match, right, at the time, Jon Moxley is pretty much the face of AEW. And, you know, I'm looking at Pentagon Jr. in this match, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what is the end goal for Pentagon in AEW? Like, we're talking past tense here because obviously he's in WWE. What was the end goal for Pentagon Jr.? You're facing the face of the company in Jon Moxley. Regardless of what anyone wants to say, Jon Moxley is the face of AEW. That's a fact, right? It's not really MJF. It's actually Jon Moxley. So facing Jon Moxley for Pentagon at the time, what was that going to really accomplish? What did that match do for Pentagon Jr. in AEW? What did that get him? Like, what did that do for his career? Did his career trajectory go up from that match, or did it go down? You have to ask yourself, because a match like this with a top name in AEW at the time, it's supposed to catapult your career. It's supposed to bring you to the next level in your career. A perfect example of this is Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart. At the time when Bret and Stone Cold had their heated feud in 96, 97, Stone Cold was not a top guy yet. Bret Hart was still considered the guy, right? Before Stone Cold. But once Stone Cold feuded with Bret Hart, and in which he looked great in that feud with Bret Hart, it catapulted his career. It brought Stone Cold Steve Austin to a different stratosphere of his career. It elevated him. That was the point. It elevated Austin to main event status. It was one of those rivalries that did wonders for Stone Cold's career. So Pentagon Jr. facing Jon Moxley at that time, what did it do for Pentagon? Can anyone tell me what did that match in particular do for Pentagon? And I don't even know who actually won the match. Like, that's how much I could care less about it. I just happened to stumble upon the short, and knowing that Pentagon's in, Penta, he's in WWE now, it had me thinking, what the hell did this match do for him? Well, it turns out it did nothing for Pentagon. It did nothing for him. Usually when a lower tier wrestler faces a top tier wrestler in a wrestling promotion, it is supposed to elevate the talent. It is supposed to elevate the low tier talent to new heights. It's supposed to be a breakout moment for them. Now I'm not saying everyone could be a Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Rey Mysterio has had a lot of breakout matches. He's had matches and feuds that saw Rey Mysterio elevate. His feud with Eddie Guerrero in 2005, guess what? It elevated Rey Mysterio. That rivalry that he had with Eddie Guerrero, it did wonders for Rey Mysterio's career. That was probably the feud that catapulted him to main event status. That in the eyes of wrestling fans, in the audience, it made us take notice of Rey Mysterio's talent and ability, and it made us take him more serious now, not just as some cruiserweight mid-carder, but now he can hang in there with the big boys. He can hang in there with the main event talent. And Eddie Guerrero at the time was a main event talent. So when you have a main event guy working a program with a low tier wrestler, it's supposed to elevate the low tier wrestler. So in hindsight, this match did nothing for Pentagon Jr. It did nothing for him because he was more likely still in the tag team division, right? Now, I didn't really follow his career that much in AEW. I've seen maybe a couple matches, but I didn't really care enough to follow his career. And more likely, it wasn't going to lead to anything worthwhile because after this match, he pretty much did nothing. You know, if Penta's going to have a feud with someone like a Drew McIntyre in the future, I expect full well for Triple H to elevate Pentagon to main event status. You're working a program with Drew McIntyre. Okay, that's only going to elevate him. That's only going to see him be taken more serious now. Because you're working a top tier wrestler in Drew McIntyre, who's one of the top guys. So now you bring him up another level. It's supposed to change the trajectory of one's career. It did not change Penta's career in AEW. It only kept it stagnant and kept him at the same spot.